Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Buds One Podcast, episode 34. I am your host, the Techno Jelly, with my co-host Alchem Games. Alchem, I almost said your name first for some reason. I just barely stopped myself and said my name instead of your name, and I don't know why I do that. But 34 episodes in, still can't do an intro properly, but that's okay. So today, normally in the past couple of weeks, yeah, in the past couple episodes. I've sent Alchem a list of topics, right? Because, I want Alchem to know what we're going to talk about. This time I have not. One, because I kind of forgot. But it worked out because I wasn't going to anyway because I wanted to surprise Alchem because I have many, many stories about crypto this time.
Oh. Oh, great.
and
This will
it
be
was
fun.
it's scarred Alchem so much that he's frozen on my screen, and I don't know why. I think you minimized it, Alchem,
Am I?
for me.
Oh, I. You are correct. You're correct. I did. Let me move it out of the way. I keep forgetting that that's not how
Yeah,
that works. It's
yeah.
best to just move it out of the way so my mouse doesn't get in the way. Yeah.
So, Alchem, the first one is kind of okay. It's very this one, honestly, I think both you and I will find interesting because do you know the game called Forever Winter?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Did you know that started as an NFT crypto game?
Because I remember you bringing it up, and I
Yeah,
just.
but it is not an NFT crypto game anymore. In 2021, they announced that this game exists. Sorry, 2022, Forever Winter came out, right? Or it was announced through I don't know if you know them, but I know them a lot, called Galagames. They're a big publisher in the crypto gaming sphere. They publish a ton of games. One of the big ones is they were the ones that helped publish that terrible uh oh god, what's the zombie property TV show Walking Dead. The Walking Dead NFT game, they helped
Well,
publish that.
yeah.
They helped publish that, right? So, Forever Winter started as an NFT crypto project, published and backed by Gala Games. And then the last year, when this game actually came out, all of a sudden, all the NFT stuff is gone, right? And they're even in their official Discord, they are like super against Web3, and they're firmly saying we're not a Web3 game in their Discord. There's a quote in their Discord that said by Fundog Studios, which is the developers of Forever Winter. TLDR, hard to know. Forever Winter will not be a Web3 game. We do not have a relationship with Gala. That info is outdated, and I have no interest in Web3 moving forward. More to come soon, TM. Uh, and it's
Well,
very interesting because I don't. Have you actually seen the game, like the Forever Winter game?
I remember seeing pictures of it when we first were talking about it because I was curious, but then I saw it was just a lot of microtransactions, a lot of just, just general stuff that pulls me away from kind of games like that. And I was like,
Is there
no,
microtransactions in the
I'm
game?
good.
I honestly don't think there
I
is.
think, or maybe I
Maybe
misinterpreted it
maybe
when I
you
saw the
found it.
pictures.
Yeah, maybe. Here, let me just do a quick
Yeah.
search on Steam because it's on available for Steam early access right now. And it's a for me it's a 38.99 game. It's got mixed reviews overall, but or sorry, all reviews it's mostly positive, but recent is mixed for some reason. There's a demo out. I don't think there's a shop in game. I think it's
Maybe
just a
not.
buy once game.
No, yeah, maybe I
And
misunderstood something.
yeah. So this game is
Hmm.
a survival sorry, it's a hardcore survival game. Like think basically this what this game is that think Terminator, but you're not a soldier and you're just trying to survive. You know? Like it's like grim dark um you're a human just trying to live type of thing, and there's really crazy robots all around, you know? And originally, they sold in 2022, they sold NFTs that sold for 20,000 US dollars. And and I mean, I don't know if I feel bad for the NFT bros, but they got, whether it was on purpose or by accident, they got hard scammed. Cuz like it's not even pretending to be a web3 game. It's completely disconnected from web3 now, which to be fair, I think is a good thing for the game, because I don't think any game is going to do well that's connected to web3, because it's just a nightmare in so many ways. But it's just so interesting to me because they have really scrubbed all their history with them, because I found very few things about their relationship.
Burned, and then there's just,
I don't know what happened.
sounds like either someone got burned on it and just whatever it is. I mean, good, because that's a good decision to make, especially for a video game developer.
Oh yeah, I mean they probably made the right decision.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't look at them that often, but I honestly don't think there's been a commercially successful Web3 game so much that isn't getting fueled or funded by something else.
From my knowledge, there is no Web3 game or NFT or crypto game that is successful anymore. Even even the one that was really big for a while, the PvP axolotl game. I can't remember it now. It was like a half Slay the Spire, half like Pokemon game. And it hit headlines because people could play the game, and for some people in the Philippines, it was their actual job. And by saying that, I mean they were making just barely minimum wage by like playing the game and and flipping the in-game currency for real money. They were just barely making minimum wage in the Philippines. So like they weren't making a lot of money, but the headlines never said that.
It was enough.
The headlines never said that, but when you look in the context, it was they were making just barely minimum wage in the Philippines. Also, it was like a weird, almost like pit boss, like crack the whip style stuff too. Like it was honestly, it got a little dark at some points. But I mean, this Forever Winter game, I can't even remember what the game is named. Axel something? I don't know. All I know is that it tanked hard recently in the last couple years. I mean, they're all reviews. The Forever Winter game, they have almost 13,000 reviews. So I mean, obviously they're doing pretty well. And from what I can tell, honestly, the game's doing well. I guess the mixed 68% positive in the last 30 days recent reviews. But I mean, I think that's overall, like, people are they're up. It's an early access game, so one of those things is like sometimes when you do an early access game and you launch a big update, it breaks everything, and then people get angry, and that happens all the time. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but it's interesting to see the history of this because they've really scrubbed it. Like they make sure that they are not involved in crypto or anything like that at all. But it's interesting. And what I'm interested in is I'm so curious what happened behind the scenes, Like you don't just sell $20,000 NFTs and then just go dark and like cut your relationship with, and especially with Gala, because Gala's big, I am not a fan of the crypto NFT space, and I am very cautious when I say whether who's big and who's not when it comes to crypto, because like it's all vaporware basically, it's all smoke and mirrors. But Gala actually had they had, outside of the crypto stuff, they actually had assets, like cash assets that actually counted. That wasn't crypto, you know? So like they actually have money. So like the fact that they cut like they just left set like I can't imagine what happened behind the scenes, you know? Like that does not sound like a that sounds like a documentary waiting to happen for me personally. You know?
Part of me is part of me thinking is you know what I said originally, where either they got cheated and they just don't want to deal with it anymore. They got so burnt that they don't want to touch it,
Yeah. I
or
mean, Gala is
this was
pretty
all
bad.
just yeah, or this was all an elaborate idea to just scam and
It could
so when
be.
they got enough to fund it properly, then they were like, no, we have no ties to it. We're not using that. We're not going to put it in our game.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
it
money,
could
though,
be. It
suckers.
could be. The thing is that
We
it was
won't
with
know unless
like the NFT
someone
stuff was
talks.
with the partnership with Gala, so I don't think they were taking the full money value. It could have been just a split. Gala also promised people refunds, and obviously that's never happening. So you know, I do feel somewhat bad to the people who got scammed by this, but you know, it's the crypto NFT space, so it's a lot of the people who followed that stuff and are deep in still are not very good people generally. So I don't know if I feel super bad for them. And Gala has a history of just terrible business practices. I can't remember what the game is called, but it was a what's it called? A battle royale cowboy game, right? And they were selling like horse
What?
NFTs and like gun NFTs and stuff like that. And the company, the video game company
Uh,
making that game is literally suing Gala right now. Like they're in lawsuits with them right now. And
God damn.
yeah, because of a bunch of stuff. Like I honestly there's so many things on it that I can't even remember. If I just type Gala games sue or lawsuit, it probably will
Mm-hmm.
tell me what it is.
Oh.
On August 31st, 2023. Oh no, this is a shareholder lawsuit. Oh no, oh yeah, I forgot. They're actually getting sued by a lot of people. Even
Does not bode well
yeah,
for
there's
them
even
then.
they're getting sued by a lot. Okay, they're getting sued by the people that are making the cowboy battle royale game. They're getting sued by
Oh,
people who made a Spider Tanks game for them. Which I actually the Spider Tanks game, if it wasn't for the fact that it was an NFT game, looks like a totally fine mobile game. The problem is it's not a mobile game; it's on PC. But
yeah.
like it's basically like a mini version of like a top down battle game, but you're a tank, you know, and you know
Damn.
it's got the terrible NFT stuff where the tanks are NFTs. So if you want to be competitive, you have to buy like a few $100 worth of crypto NFT slop. But they're getting sued because
Hmm.
you know I don't remember why, but yeah. And then they're getting sued by the shareholders of galagames. So I don't know what's happening to them. They are yeah, there's so many lawsuits happening to them. At some point, Alchem, I'll tell you what happens in these lawsuits because they're still all of them are still pretty fresh. The shareholder one literally was filed in August 31st, 2023. So that one's just barely a year old. So these things are going to be it's going to be, you know, a whole thing. And the Spider Tank one is May 2023. So they're all pretty new.
Hmm.
And honestly, I feel bad for the Spider Tank guys because the Spider Tank game, honestly, I think would really work as a mobile game. Like that would be like the way they made that game, like that looks like an amazing mobile game to me. It was like it's like a 3v3 PvP game where your tanks have like special abilities and like all the good stuff, all that good stuff. The problem is it's all behind NFTs, right? So
I was about to say
because all the tanks
that's
are
the only
NFTs,
flaw.
all the tanks are NFTs. And so they also have the stupid.
Ah, that sounds so dumb.
Yeah, they also have all the really dumb things where if you own a really good tank, you could let other players rent it and you can split the profits. Or, okay, profits, and I say that in quotation marks because obviously there isn't any profits in this, but you can split the current, like their token. Because when you play ranked games and you win those ranked games, you get their token, right? Obviously, because
Blech.
it's a play to
Yeah.
earn game. So, if it wasn't for the fact that it was a Web3 game, I actually think it would be a pretty good mobile game. Do I think it'd be successful? I don't know. Like, that's something you don't know, you can never really answer. But I think on the gameplay and the stuff, like the game matches last like 5 minutes. Like it's an amazing it's an amazing concept for a really good, interesting PvP mobile game. And even if it was a mobile game, you could then throw in all the crappy mobile game stuff. But the thing is, if it was a mobile game, terrible microtransactions, I think that'd be more palpable than the stupid NFT stuff, you know? Because like at least the mobile game,
Definitely.
like, look, I hate the mobile game industry when it comes to how predatory they are with the microtransactions and all that type of stuff. But like, at least you can theoretically play the game free to play, you know?
Yeah.
With the Web3 stuff, you can't. So, yeah. I didn't even mean to talk about spider tanks, but I actually forgot about spider tanks. And I was actually really disappointed at Alchem because I found spider tanks not realizing it was a Web3 game. And then as I was looking, I was like, this game looks kind of fun. Maybe I'll play it. Because I thought it was a mobile game. I was like, I haven't played a real mobile game in a long time. Like maybe I'll try this out. And then when I realized, like, oh, it's a PC game. That's kind of weird. I'm like, what? Why does this game have tokens? And then I like clicked. I'm like it, and I clicked it, and it asked me to connect a wallet. And I was like, no. It was like literally, that scene in episode 3 Star Wars when at the very end when Darth Vader is first revealed and it's like the huge no. That's me when I found out that this was an NFT game and I got sad. But it happens.
Jelly finds out it's an NFT and has a new topic to talk about. No, wait, that's oh god, that's Jelly when he found out the game you liked was an NFT, and that's just me finding out when Jelly's going to talk about more crypto and NFT.
Yeah, and it now the difference is outcome is when I'm suffering, you're going to suffer with me, and you can't stop it.
Jelly's sad because the game they liked is an NFT. Like maybe 2 or 3 days later, hey Alchem, I found a new topic. It's about NFTs. It just keeps going on. The roller coaster just keeps going.
It just keeps going on. So Alchem, from Galagames, a scumbag company like Galagames, let's go to another scumbag company called Ubisoft.
No. Oh.
And a game called Champions Tactics. A full. Let me just pull up the blurb on their Twitter, formerly known as X. That's right, I said that. Mm-hmm. Champions Tactics, the ultimate Web3 competitive turn-based RPG by Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Now, Alchem, I would like you. So, I told you before we started this podcast, I told you I did a deep dive. This is the thing I was doing a deep dive on. Now, Alchem, I would like you to take a guess how much. So, okay. Actually, you know what? No. Before we talk about that, I'll explain what the game is. Okay? Forget that it's an NFT game for a split second. Okay? This game is a PvP tactical RPG. Right? So think PvP like oh god, what are those? What's that game like? Final Fantasy Tactics or like the Metal Slug Tactics game that came, or like XCOM. It's like PvP XCOM basically. Yeah. Right? And I was about to call them tokens, but that's what they're actually called. But like the characters are modeled like D&D figures, like the miniatures, like D&D miniatures or Warhammer 40K miniatures. Like they have like the base and like those miniature style things, right? So those miniatures
Yeah.
are those RPG characters. And you use those characters in your PvP battles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, out forgetting that it's an NFT game,
Yeah.
that concept sounds totally fine, right? And then we bring in the Web3 aspect of the game. All of those RPG characters are NFTs. So, Alchem, this is a free-to-play game. It's not a free-play game because you need to buy those characters.
Oh, wait. Do you get any normal characters, or do you get any free characters?
You technically do, but you're gonna get wrecked if you use them. It's
That's what
think
I thought. Yeah, you
think
get
about
stonewalled.
like it's not just Stonewalled Alchem. The character, like, it's literally just like, it's not even like you're a noob and you don't know the tactics. Your characters literally have less stats. Like, they literally have less stats than the other characters, than the other tokens / miniatures. I'm actually going to send you something if you would like to show them. Don't show audio for this, because who knows what scumbag is going to copyright claim this. But it's the trailer for the game, right? I found it on the IGN article, and I'm gonna show it to everyone. But I think it's so funny because the trailer shows literally nothing. It's so fun. It's like the most generic trailer I've ever seen. People are watching it right now on my side, and it's just like, this is the most generic thing I've ever seen in the world. Like the biggest fantasy generic thing. I mean, and the sad part is that, like, the miniatures actually kind of look cool. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. I'm just trying to get it started on here.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were able to do this easily. I'm sorry. I thought you had a thing.
Oh, no, whoops. Oh, whoops. I'm moving you around.
Oh,
Whoops.
God. Oh, God. Why are you taking me? Okay.
Sorry, there was an accident. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get this started.
Yeah. So.
What is this?
Yeah. Make sure you mute it just in case. But
the
beginning, the opening.
Oh, look.
The opening is very, like, okay, it's a fantasy game. It's fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And the cards look kind of weird. It looks really weird, the cards, but that's okay. But then when they start showing the gameplay, I'm going to use that very, very loosely here, with the miniatures.
Wait.
Those are the characters. The miniatures are the actual things. The miniatures look actually kind of cool, honestly. You know? So that's the
What's the point of the cards?
The card, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it was just a marketing thing. Right?
What the hell?
Yeah, so that is the trailer of the game, right? I have not played this game. I refuse. So those miniatures are the tokens, right? They are the tokens.
Mm-hmm.
What is, Alchem, the cheapest token? Cheapest. Also, for anyone who knows crypto stuff, this is it's on the Ethereum chain, and they have their own token. So it's ETH and their own token. The cheapest token, though, or the cheapest miniature.
Of course I do.
So what is the cheapest? What's it called? Miniature. Take a guess. Wild guess.
No idea. The first one we saw in the video.
No. Like, what's the actual price? I'm saying.
Oh, probably like $50.
Oh, I mean, honestly, Alchem, it wouldn't surprise me. But the cheapest one, is actually like $7. It's $7.60, right? Which is, when you think about it, not like the
Okay.
worst thing. Like honestly, it's about as expensive as like actually downloading a. It's slightly more expensive than downloading a file to 3D print your own miniatures. It's more expensive than that, but only a little bit. The most expensive miniature outcome. Do you want to guess, or do you want me to just tell you?
No, just tell me because I
Three hundred and ninety-four million nine hundred
get
and
the
two
hell out of
thousand
here.
eight
Get
hundred and $88 and 88 cents. Three hundred
go.
and ninety-four
Get out of here
million
with your NFT.
dollars. It is so insanely. And okay, you know what the funny thing is, Alchem? I clicked on this miniature thing. You know what? I don't even know what these stats mean, but the stats don't look crazy. Like I actually don't know why this thing costs so much. And I think it's because it's like only one of them exist, I think. And I don't know why this thing costs $300 million. And it's actually insane.
Are they banking on the fact that it's a rare item, so they think people will be like, "Oh, I have to have"? They really think they're gonna get whales on that game.
Well,
Maybe
I'm
I
about
don't
to make
know.
you
You
very
never
sad.
know.
I'm
You
about
just
to
need
make you
one whale.
very, very sad, Alchem, because they don't have to bank on that fat.
There's
Because
yeah, there's whales. There's always a
because
whale.
that is not the price set by Ubisoft. That is the price set by the people playing this game. Because Ubisoft has minted all the champions already. They minted 75,000 of these things, and these are the resale prices. I am almost positive. And looking at the data, there has been almost $30,000 worth of trades in the last 30 days. And the market cap is over $1 million with just the trading volume. And it's kind of sad because I thought we were done with this stuff. And I'm not entirely sure if I am reading this stuff wrong. Okay, to be fair, I don't know how to read a lot of this stuff properly, right? Like I am very much at arm's length with all of this stuff. Like honestly, Alchem probably
What
knows
arms?
more about crypto and stuff than I do. Uh but I'm
What
just
arms?
one arms. Okay, that's true. That's
What?
true. I am body length. All right, I'm gonna take Alchem's arm and then keep them at arm's length.
I
But like for instance, even in the past 24 hours, Alchem, there were still
yeah.
9 trades, 5 sellers, and 4 buyers. Like there's still people doing it now. To be fair, it's also very like I'm sure in the crypto gaming sphere, this game is probably hugely hype because it's Ubisoft, it's a big company behind it, and they're pumping money into this, right? And they're let me look for it. Oh god, I've lost it. Their token, if I remember correctly, is like pretty in terms of crypto, like actually worth something right now. Oh god, I don't know how to look at the market. Um oh god. What do I have to type for this again? There we go. Their token right now, the warped Osasi, or I don't know, is
I'll see.
no, it OASYS. I don't know how to pronounce that.
OAS. Oh.
is worth 0.03 ETH. Which, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's good or not. It doesn't sound very good, but like with crypto, it's hard to say. And it's very interesting. But the thing is that it's constantly going up right now. That's the biggest thing. Like right now it's basically only up because there's a lot of hype with this, right? And that's the biggest thing. It's still down from like when they first announced it, but that's hard to say. But it's also one of those things where it's in the 0.03 range and it's never left that range. And it's so weird to me, Alchem, that we're still here. I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. I also can't believe Ubisoft was still doing this. I thought after the whole horrible failure of whatever that crypto marketplace they did before was happening, I can't believe they're still doing stuff. I think the funniest thing is seeing people being sponsored to play this game, because you can definitely tell when people are just taking the paycheck, because they have they have absolutely no idea what crypto and all that type of stuff is. And I don't blame these people. Like, you should, if they're paying you good money, you take that money and you just say, hey guys, I'm being sponsored, and just be blatant about it, you know? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not blaming people taking those checks, you know? If Raid Shadow Legends gave me a bag of money and said shill for us, I'd say Raid Shadow Legends is the best game I've ever played. You know, easy, hands down, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And chat, we would, the day that comes, we'll let you know, right, Jelly? Pan looks at camera. And this is when we suddenly start talking about it.
That would be an amazing segue,
this
but unfortunately,
this is
actually just an elaborate setup for the fact that this is going to be an hour-long sponsored podcast by Raid Shadow Legends. If only. I'd have so much money if it was, though.
The funny thing is, one day if that ever happens, Jelly just do a little podcast topic where we talk about crypto and stuff, and you be talking about some really bad one, and like, yeah, these are really bad. Or no, these mobile games are bad, but you know what's not bad? Looks at camera. And it's suddenly just immediately commercial time.
And the best thing is, I won't even tell Alchem. I'll just surprise him with a sponsor. No, I wouldn't actually do that, because he'd have to be okay. He'd have to be okay with it. But it would be funny. Yeah. It would be funny if I did that, though. I wouldn't do that. I would laugh
if you made the sheer goal to have to do an elaborate joke like that. I would laugh my ass off for, though.
That it would be really funny.
Yeah, maybe.
But
yeah,
I'm on. Okay. In complete seriousness, Alchem, I think the worst thing about this game is that the game, from what I can not the worst thing, the funniest thing is that no matter how much I look up this game, Alchem, I can't find any gameplay of it, because the only thing people care about is the market and like the sale value and all that type of stuff. So no, I don't think anyone's playing this game, man. I think they're just selling these stupid NFTs and no one's actually playing the game. Just like any good game, I guess. Also, I don't understand how this Champions Tactics Twitter account has over 100K following. But it's probably because it's just all the NFT bros. So, you know. Sorry? You weren't...
No, it's probably... No, I was saying that's probably it. That's the only... Yeah. I mean, most of the NFT stuff is only fueled by people, NFT bros, who are trying to keep this stuff afloat when...
Yeah.
Honestly, none of it's viable.
No.
Like, I at this point, I feel like most of them are just self-cannibalizing each other to just keep each other afloat.
Yep. I think it's really sad because I think blockchain and all that stuff is kind of cool, and there are real world uses for it, in my opinion. You know, the problem is that all the things that people are trying to use it for aren't the reason, like aren't actually good uses for it. Because what a blockchain is really good at doing is keeping track of data and not being able to edit it. So that just like, okay, well, that would work in like shipping stuff, or like anything to do with transporting goods in any way. That would be really useful. But that's really because it's just a ledger. It's just a ledger that you add data to the end to, and you can't edit it. And it's like actually the worst thing for video games, because you need to be able to edit it, because there are so many bad things that can happen during coding for a video game that if you can't edit it, well, then you're just screwed. And it's really sucks. Crypto, in my opinion, I don't think has any good uses for real world. I honestly think crypto has zero uses. But like the blockchain technology, I think could be useful. NFTs are stupid. NFTs, the only reason NFTs exist is so people could try to sell cryptocurrency. So I think it's also dumb. But the actual blockchain ledger technology, I think, is kind of useful. Or it could be useful. But unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to be used in the way, because that the problem is that doesn't make a lot of money. Right? So basically, this entire thing, Alchem, is me being sad because I see something I'm like, that could be useful in this very specific scenario. And it's never going to be used in this very specific scenario, because the problem is that you can only sell that product once. And that's basically it. And I don't know how else you would do that. And also, tech bros and NFT bros are never going to let this die. So that makes me sad. But I have some other stories to talk to you about, Alchem. And
Please do.
Because I was bringing crypto and NFTs back and haunting you, I decided to find I found one very funny story that's kind of linked to another story we covered a few weeks ago, and one other story that I found very interesting, and I think you would find interesting too. So I'm gonna go with the funny one first, because just reading the title for me is very funny, because I don't know how I keep finding these stories, Alchem, but I found a story, and this is the headline: 63-year-old man arrested for allegedly stealing $400,000 worth of cheese. How do I keep finding these? It's the first the chicken wings.
To the chicken wing lady?
The funny thing was, I think the chicken wing people were in the U.S., weren't they? They were in the U.S. Yeah. Well, right. This is in the U.K., unfortunately. So this is in the U.K. So this guy, on October 25th, he stole 22 metric tons of luxury cheese from a business in London. And it was, he just stole a ton of luxury cheeses, $400,000 or 48,000 pounds of cheese that was worth $400,000. It was let me continue. He was allegedly conned by a fraudulent buyer who posed as a wholesale distributor for a major retailer. So he basically said, "Hey, I'm buying for grocery, like a retailer," and just was gonna take it himself. And it's just so funny. And
so he just convinced them?
I think it's hard to say. Let me just read it. On October 25th, Sky News reported that more than 22 metric tons of luxury cheese was stolen from a business in London. The business, Neal's Yard Dairy, was allegedly conned by a fraudulent buyer who posed as a wholesale distributor for a major retailer. shared the news on its Instagram page and issued an update. The Metropolitan Police made an arrest connected with the thief, and apparently, so the owner of the farm
Goes in. Yeah.
It may sound naive to fall victim to a scam like this, but the truth is that the artisan cheese world is a place where trust is deeply embedded in all transactions. So basically, he just made them. He convinced them that he worked for
Yeah.
a major retailer, and they gave him the cheese expecting payment, and he just left.
It was solely based on confidence. This man literally walked in just going, "Hey, I'm with so-and-so cheese thing. We want to buy your product. Well, here you go. Here's my contact info." Gives them some fake-ass number and arranges pickup without actual payment.
Yeah.
Because they're so trusting.
You know what the funny thing is, Alchem? Even this article, at the very end of this article, while this cheesy situation wasn't a small heist, it's far from the biggest food-related theft that happened in 2024. Back in August, a school cafeteria worker, after stealing $1.3 million. Like, even the article says, like, this is so funny that two of these things happened in the same year.
Yeah.
448,000 pounds of cheese, Alchem. I'm lactose intolerant, and I think I'm dead.
See, the thing is, I'm pretty sure this guy was planning to sell cheese, because cheese can be sold. Cheese is a really
it's a hard commodity thing. Yeah, it's a hard commodity. Buy.
The wing lady, I still, even when we talked about it in detail, I still don't understand.
Yeah, I still don't understand.
No one's gonna buy that. I don't know where she was gonna keep it.
Yeah, I honestly, all I can think I'm pretty sure they just. I'm pretty sure they did. Well, the thing is, like, that was over the course of like 2 years, so they were eating. They ate that much. They ate much. But this guy just did this in a couple days, so he was 100% going to sell this on the black market.
Yeah, he was totally going to sell.
Which is, now that I say that, I wonder. There has to be like this whole food underground black market that we don't know of, or that like we know of, but like is like this huge thing that. Now I'm kind of curious how that works, but I'm also not curious because, you know, it's the black market and I get scared. I get scared easily, I'll be honest. I don't want to deal with that.
It's insane.
I'm just going to go to the I'm just going to go to the grocery store and buy some cheese. Like, I don't need to deal with all this. That confidence, man. Just walk up. I'm from insert major retailer. I'll take this 48,000 pounds of cheese, and I'll just leave. The confidence.
Never come back. Never.
And the funny thing is, it took days too, because he stole it on October 25th, and they didn't arrest him until October 30th. So he for 5 days, this guy was potentially this guy could have almost gotten away with it. Though I don't know how you would get away with that. It's too high profile. $400,000 worth of cheese, that's a headline everywhere. You're gonna get caught on that. I almost guaranteed. Especially if it's trust based, they probably met in person, so the people probably know who. I mean, I guess you could. There's plenty of ways you could fake identity and stuff like that, but it's hard to. I feel like it'd be hard to. Especially if if you're on the headlines, who would buy that? You know?
Yeah. The day after you read an article about this stolen amount of cheese, some strange person you never met before who comes in and is like, I'd like to offer you some cheese.
Yeah.
And you're done at that point. Once everyone's aware that this is stolen stuff, yeah, they're gonna be shady eyes at whoever the hell might be trying to sell cheese.
The funny thing is that right under this article it's not related, but it's funny because it's a woman shocked at husband's gift of ridiculous amount of cheese for Valentine's Day. It's not related in any way. It's just because it's the algorithm and they saw cheese in both the things, so that's why it's linked. But it's not linked. It's not the same person. Let me quickly check. It is
because I'm at the.
I don't think it is in Europe.
Oh, okay.
No, I think it
For
was
some
the
reason, I
US.
thought since it's cheese related to. Oh.
It was
I
a
don't know why I was
Valentine's
thinking when
gift.
it came.
It was a TikTok Valentine's gift.
I didn't know what to get you this year for Valentine's, so I got you cheese.
I
Hope you're
mean, to
not
be
lactose
fair, if
intolerant.
she likes cheese, I mean they were married for a long time. They have like kids, so like
They might be doing some anniversary theme thing.
yeah,
Maybe
50th anniversary. It looks like no,
the 50th anniversary, the cheese anniversary. What the
no, no.
hell?
Oh no, sorry, they're joking that their 50th anniversary now needs to be a huge thing of cheese.
Ah. Huh.
Huh.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that was
Cheese
my funny. That
anniversary.
was my funny story because I think we needed to laugh it out about another person
So
stealing a huge amount of money worth of cheese. Also, I
was the
don't know.
emotional
Okay,
crippling one.
no. The emotional crippling one was
Oh,
the NFT stuff.
crypto. Oh, thank God.
No, actually, okay. Just before we move on, I just realized something. What the heck is luxury cheddar cheese? What does that even mean?
Finely aged cheddar cheese? I have no idea.
Is that how you? I guess aged cheese is the more aged it is, the generally the more expensive it is. I think so. It could just be a brand
Yeah,
name.
I suppose.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Because it was 22 metric tons of luxury cheddar cheese.
Those.
The heck is luxury cheddar
Hmm.
cheese? I'm not nearly enough of a snob to know what this means, but I just realized I don't know what the heck luxury cheddar cheese is, and the picture that it shows doesn't look like luxury cheese to me. But yeah, I don't know.
Luxury. It's in the name.
Yeah. So
It's like,
Alchem, I have one more story,
yeah. Oh?
and this story I found interesting and also hilarious at the same time. So Alchem, did you know McDonald's can finally fix its own ice cream machines and customers are delighted?
Yeah, I heard.
You saw that?
I know the entire
It
reason
is
why. Yeah,
so
I've
funny.
known why they could never build it.
Well, they couldn't repair it.
I was curious a while back. Yeah, I was always curious a while back why they couldn't repair it, and so I found out, and I was like,
That's
oh, that
hilarious.
really sucks. Oh my,
It's
this
really
entire
funny.
time.
They're literally legally
Yeah.
not allowed to repair their own machines because they don't own the machines.
Yep, and that
That's
was part of
so
the
funny.
contract that
The manufacturer
it was
had
all part of the contract the manufacturer did. They added that little clause to their contract, and McDonald's got screwed over for it.
for like
At
40
least,
years like what 60 years
yeah.
because they introduced these machines in 1940s. So
Yep.
it's
And
been
they were
actually no.
contractually obligated to keep them in
Yeah.
there and not have any repairs done.
No, well, like
Unless they
yeah,
approved it or they came and did it.
unless they did it or they approved it. That's so
Yeah.
funny. It's
Yeah.
actually the funniest
And
thing.
they never did. They never approved anything, and they barely repaired any of them. So for
Yep.
years, you had the meme of McDonald's ice cream machine broke.
Yep. And they literally
Oh my
legally
God,
cannot repair it.
Nope. Until
That's
finally,
until
just
today.
like what,
Until
last
recently.
month.
In
Yeah.
October, yeah. October 30th is actually when the thing went through.
Oh, that is the most brilliant, and that was just evil and brilliant at the same time, because oh my God, you kept yourself in business for, that was like that was at least 2 or 3 lifetime for some people
Yeah.
of keeping in business. Just holy crap, that's genius. Whoever the hell didn't look at that contract 60 years ago is probably beating themselves up.
Well, longer than that. It
Or,
was
or
potentially
dead.
I guess it depends when this manufacturing company had the rights to it, but it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the McDonald's
Mm-hmm.
ice cream machine broken thing has been a meme or has been a thing since I remember. So it's been at least over 40, like 30 to 40 years at least. Everyone I know has known this thing. Older people and younger people.
Yeah, it has been a giant thing since they first started, and because of the contract, they knew they had McDonald's by the balls. So all they had to do was literally make their services very scarce. And even when they did service the machines, they took forever.
Yeah.
They literally just took their time because they
It
literally
was
had
literally in
no
the
like
contract.
obligation. Yeah, they were obligated to McDonald's to get the job done, but at their own pace because they couldn't do anything. They couldn't
Yeah.
go anywhere.
They had to
They
honor
couldn't
the
use any
contract.
other ice cream machine. They were contractually obligated. Yep. So they kind of had to suck it up and let these guys work for hours on end on an ice cream machine to fix it or clean or just remove a part or
Yeah,
whatever the
I
hell
think
they
the
needed to
biggest
do.
one,
Meanwhile,
I
they were just
remember the
getting
cleaning
some
took like
easy
5 hours. Just cleaning the machine took
Mm-hmm.
so long.
Yeah. It's all, and most of the time it was just something simple, but they just extended it because hey, you get paid that one, you get paid more.
Yep.
And it's just funny. And but now, yeah, it's finally that era has ended. Ice cream machine broke, doesn't exist anymore. Well, soon. I think there was a website that literally mapped each McDonald's and which one had a working ice cream machine or not.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's not going to be useful as much anymore, considering that McDonald's doesn't
Hmm.
need to wait for this company. They don't need to even
Yeah.
use those ice cream machines. They can probably expand to something better.
I don't know if don't think they can expand the ice cream machines right now, because what they did is they changed the copyright office and the FTC. Um, they changed. Okay, wait. Sorry, I just the Taylor Company, the manufacturer, no longer has the copyright to the machines anymore. So now
Ah.
McDonald's owns the copyright to the machines. So
Oh, okay.
Now McDonald's doesn't need the manufacturer in other than to make the machines. Like they still need unless McDonald's owns a factory, they still need the manufacturer to make them. But the difference is the manufacturer used to also own all the machines. Now McDonald's owns the machines once they're off the factory floor. Once
Yeah,
they're in a
it all
McDonald's,
belongs to them.
now McDonald's owns it. So yeah.
Uh, that was
So
just brilliant, though.
that's so funny. It's so funny that the reason they were always it wasn't a meme. It was actually no, they're actually broken all the time, and it was literally McDonald's legally not allowed to repair them, which is why they were always broken. And that was
I
just
always,
hilarious.
when I found that out a while back, so funny.
And you know what the funny thing is, Malcolm?
It never stopped being funny whenever you search. Yeah.
I've literally never had McDonald's ice cream because of this. Every time I've tried, it's been broken. I've literally never had a McFlurry. Never.
Really,
It's
I managed
it's
to get a
always been
McFlurry, not the
broken.
ice cream though.
It's always been broken. Malcolm. I've had
Poor bastard.
one McDonald's that actually had an ice cream machine, and it has never been fixed. It has never been available. I've had McFlurry like things because of like Dairy Queen and stuff like that, but I've never had a McDonald's ice cream thing. Sorry, I need to blow my nose 1 second.
You're fine. They're actually getting they're getting water eyed because they never could have ice cream, and now they realize they can.
It's true. It's true. It's a heartfelt, wholesome moment for me. I'll finally be able to have the McFlurry. The funny thing is now the problem is now that everyone knows this, I 100% feel like it's going to be a problem of they're going to be out of stock. Like they're just going to run out. Now everyone knows that they're finally going to be able to actually be there, so that actually everyone is going to order it.
I mean, for people who've always never gotten a chance, yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely will.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't had McDonald's in a long time, honestly. McDonald's here in Canada, while not
Yeah.
necessarily, it's not expensive, but it's also like not as
Hmm.
cheap as it is in the US, I've heard. So, McDonald's is like one of those things where I want when I want a McDonald's burger, it's because I'm craving specifically a Big Mac or something like that, you know? Like when I want a burger, I generally don't want McDonald's. But when I want a Big Mac, I want a Big Mac. You know what I mean? It's very
Yeah,
specific.
I get that.
Like when I want a
I understand
McChicken,
that.
when I want a McChicken, I don't want a chicken sandwich. I want a McChicken. But when I want a chicken sandwich, I don't necessarily want a McChicken.
Hmm.
So, yeah. I do have a couple other things I can talk about. I wasn't entirely sure how much time you actually had because we were doing it on a different day.
Go for it.
So, I have two stories I've actually covered on my own YouTube channel that I found interesting. That I was kind of interested on your take on it. So, do you know this is actually involved in the video game? We're back in the video game industry. Luckily, no crypto to be seen. Do you know Private Division?
Goodness. No, I'm not familiar with that one.
So, Private Division, you've probably played some of their games.
Yeah.
They are a publisher / developer. They are a high-end indie publisher. They bankroll a lot of indie games. For instance, two of their most notable ones, or three of their most notable ones, sorry, is Outer Worlds, the RPG, the space RPG.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Kerbal Space Program 2, and No Rest for the Wicked. Those are like their three big ones.
Okay.
They are owned. Private Division is a subdivision of Take-Two. Do you know who Take-Two is, Alchem? You definitely know their games if you don't know them, though.
Yeah, I'm familiar with I'm familiar with Take-Two.
Yeah. So, Private Division, Take-Two recently sold Private Division to a mysterious buyer. And when I say mysterious, I mean actually mysterious. Like, it's not public who they sold them to. And it's interesting because basically the Take-Two CEO said they're here to make top 10 games and Private Division wasn't delivering, which I'm personally in two minds of, because for anyone who doesn't know, Take-Two is the parent company of 2K Games and Rockstar. You are an indie game developer, and the CEO of the company that you are technically a sub-company of just said your games aren't selling as well as Borderlands and Grand Theft Auto, so we're selling you. I feel like that is a very bad, like that is a not fair comparison, but you know, I mean, he's not wrong. You know what I mean? Like Outer Worlds was a great game in my opinion. It had some flaws, but like it's not selling as well as Borderlands 3 or Grand Theft Auto 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2, you know? Or any of the sports games that 2K makes. And I don't know, Malcolm, do you think it's a fair statement? Like, okay, obviously it's a fair statement because it's true, but like, do you think it's reasonable? I'm kind of in two minds about it because he's right. They Take-Two is a top 10 game seller. When one of their game, like their flops are some game developers like wet dreams in terms of sales. And like when you're saying like, hey, we're going to make this like the whole pitch for Private Division was high-end indie games for commercial success. But the problem is I feel like commercial success, they have a different definition of what commercial success is. You know what I mean?
Take-Two?
Yes.
Or for...
Well, Take-Two has a different version. What do you mean? They're comparing Outer Worlds and No Rest for the Wicked sales, comparing them to the latest Borderlands game or the latest Grand Theft Auto game or Red Dead Redemption 2.
What?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what they're saying.
Comparison, though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a fair comparison, but it's one of those things where I understand where the CEO is coming from. I think it's misguided, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also one of those things where Private Division themselves haven't been doing very well in the last couple of years. Because I don't know if you know, Kerbal Space Program has been like the biggest indie flop like in the last like 5 years. Kerbal Space Program 2 is a terrible video game, and it was so bad that the company, like the developers that run it, shut down. It's been really bad in the past like 5 years, because like they started
Oh,
pretty well. They started pretty good in Without a World, and No Rest for the Wicked is pretty good too. Which during the selling they actually revealed that they still Take Two still owns No Rest for the Wicked, so they sold Private Division and all its IPs except for No Rest for the Wicked, which is interesting.
hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's the I feel like they need. I feel like it's incredibly unfair to all those studios and game developers to say you didn't sell as well as Red Dead Redemption 2 and Borderlands 3. So you're a failure, we're selling you. It's like I don't know if that's fair. uh, it's I don't know, man. I don't know. It's so
I don't understand why you would compare the two. It just
it
doesn't.
does feel like I
Uh,
feel like you need to have a like I don't think any of those games lost money.
Suspension of disbelief, but I mean,
Maybe.
no, it's.
I think
I
it
mean,
I think
I'm guessing in terms of cost and
yeah.
I think they're reviewing in terms of cost and value and like how much they lost or revenue based, but I don't know. It still doesn't seem like I don't know where they got that idea.
I don't know. I
It
mean
seems a little
it's hard to
diluted,
say. It
or
well the problem is Alchem is that I agree with you, but it's not like they're not wrong, you know? Like they are saying
no,
factually
it just
true things,
it did do, yeah, but
but
compared to,
like a game I can't remember what Outer Worlds sold. It's hard to say. Let me just quickly check it on Steam how many reviews there are. Outer Worlds. Oops. Outer Worlds. It came out 2020 and it has over 20,000 reviews on Steam. Now, you have to own the game to review it, but most people don't. Obviously, most people don't post reviews on Steam. So like it sold very well, I feel like if I go to Steam charts Outer Worlds. This game, to be fair, it came out on Epic Game Store first, but it was also a day one Game Pass as well, and it had a 16,900 all time peak. So I mean, like that's a reasonable reason. That's a pretty reasonable number. I feel like for a brand new IP as well, you know.
mm-hmm, yeah,
But
for brand new
but the
one,
thing
but
is, when you're comparing that, when you're in a boardroom with no context, comparing that to Red Dead Redemption 2,
probably
or
just said it just to,
yeah,
if anything, they probably said it just to get people to be like, "Oh, good, you guys are doing great," with no chart, no
yeah,
information, no nothing to back it up. Just the fact that hey, we did sell well, and probably gave minimal information to mislead people. But I mean, that's the only thing I can think of besides delusion. Besides sheer
yeah.
delusion, the only other reason I can think of is you're trying to persuade. But that,
They're probably.
I
It's
mean,
also probably
I'm not saying it's a bad game at all because yeah,
what
they were
Outer
good
Worlds.
games. Outer Worlds was definitely a good game,
That was a fun
but
game.
did it do like it did well,
It
but it
did
didn't do
well
like
enough.
crazy well.
It
It
did
didn't
well
do
enough.
GTA levels of
I mean,
well or
no
anything like
game
that.
does GTA levels of well.
Yeah,
Call of
no,
Duty doesn't do GTA levels of well, you know?
yeah,
So
it's just
I think it's a problem of your it's a problem of your a triple A company making indie games not realizing the scale it's just a different scale. Selling 100,000 units
Yeah.
as an indie game is amazing. Selling 100,000 units as a AAA game is a failure. So it's just like it's a different scale, and I feel like the fact the fact that I forgot that they were Private Division was owned by Take Two, and they were founded in 2017. I'm surprised they lasted this long. Honestly, like if that's how they were comparing them, I can't believe they lasted this long. And whoever was the head of Private Division probably deserves a medal for the amount of meetings that he had to do. The amount of meetings that he had to go to for the suits and ties of Take Two to convince them to keep the funding going. Like the wordplay must have been crazy. You know? Like those must have been some amazing presentations he did in those meetings. Because I can't imagine being able to convince Take Two to keep the funding coming when you're making games like Outer Worlds and No Rest for the Wicked, which are amazing games, but like they're not selling millions and millions of copies. And I feel like, unfortunately, I'd hate to say it, but I feel like Kerbal Space Program is probably the thing that killed this, because Kerbal Space Program 2 flopped so hard that like it literally killed the company. Like it killed the developers of the developers of Kerbal Space Program 2 don't exist anymore. They were shut down.
No.
And it's like you can only I feel like you can only convince them as long as you're still selling relatively well. But when a game flops so hard like that game, that becomes hard, I think. That becomes hard. That I think that's I mean, I feel like saying this is kind of like, you know, obviously I know the outcome, but like that's a no-win battle right there. When your parent company is Take Two. So that is one thing that I found that's like, you know, that's just unfortunate. One
Mhm.
interesting thing that I'll probably be making a video at some point, but we did get an update on the Palworld versus Nintendo
Oh
lawsuit
yeah.
that's happening. So it's 3
Mhm.
Pokemon patents for $66,000 in damages, which just before, if anyone says
Is
doesn't sound like a lot of money, that's just the money for the lawsuits themselves. This does not include like court costs, lawyer costs, all that stuff. So this is
yeah.
millions of dollars worth of a lawsuit, but the lawsuit damages is only $66,000. But
I'll be
one
honest
of
with
the
you, considering what Palworld did or how well they did, this sounds like pittance.
oh yeah, it's
This really does
pittance.
sound like chump change.
Yeah,
Um,
so we got in this update to the lawsuit, a we got some key information.
hmm?
It is 3 patents that they're suing them over. I'm not gonna. The names of the patents are literally just numbers, so I won't bother uh, with like the names of them. But basically, we are pretty much confirmed that the patents are over mechanics of video games. So
They could never find that they stole anything. Just the idea of throwing a ball to catch stuff.
yeah. So the first patent, computing the motion of a game character's respect to other game characters, game objects, or elements of the game scene, e.g., for simulation of behavior or group of virtual soldiers or for pathfinding. That's one of the patents. Uh, Now to
I mean,
also
that is such a
just
vague.
as a just as a clarification, this is a Japanese patent, so it's being translated to English. So there could be some translation error,
The
but like
wording could be a little off.
so
Yeah.
their wording can be a little bit just to make sure everyone knows this is a translation of Japanese, which you know English the Japanese to English isn't perfect, but it's relatively close to I think what they're trying to get to, you know?
Hmm.
That is a incredibly broad uh patent. The second patent that they're suing them over.
Mm-hmm.
Controlling the output signal based on the game progression, involving additional visual information provided to the game scene, e.g., example, by overlay to simulate a heads-up display (HUD), or displaying a laser sight in shooting game using indicators, e.g., showing the condition of the game character on screen for tagging characters, objectives, or locations in the game scene, displaying a circle under the character controlling by
Wait.
the player.
Wait, no. That sounds like when you aim something, like you aim a cursor at something and you see information pop up.
Yes, that is
At least
exactly what that is. Basically, that is what the
that's
patent is
not
over.
a. I've never heard of anyone trying to like patent that mechanic. That's
Yeah,
an everyday kind
they
of thing that
patented.
most video games do.
Yeah,
I,
the
you,
this patent was, I'm pretty sure, in 2020. Both of these patents so far have been 2021. Wait, sorry.
have these been
Okay,
like
they started
are
in
these like
2021, and they've every year they have renewed these patents.
oh, so
So
this is actually a patent they've had?
they've had them since at least 2021 from the information that I'm reading.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I honestly, that sounds like the stupidest thing to patent because that's something everyone does, and by all means, if they wanted to protect this patent, they should have been going after so many other things that had done similar mechanics. But they just chose their battles because they know that that they're encroaching on their territory of monster battling.
Okay.
Oh my god,
I'm trying to find the third.
They're
patent.
reaching so hard.
Okay, unfortunately, I cannot find the third patent. It doesn't link. Okay, wait. Let me. This patent, this patent, and this patent. What am I missing here? Controlling the output. No, we talked about that one. Oh, wait.
Mm-hmm.
No. Huh. Two of these have the same number, but do different numbers, but they're the same patent? That has to be wrong. That might be a linking error.
It might be a or yeah.
This might be just a linking error. Okay, wait. I'm reading. Okay, the problem is now I'm literally just reading the document. Okay, the problem is this document is tens of pages of long and it's translated into Japanese, but it's also a legal document. So it has all the classic like legal jargon that I don't entirely know the proper thing is. But the third so that I think the HUD one was the big one. Because that's basically the mechanic of throwing a ball at something that everyone thought was going to happen. So it's not exactly that, but it's actually even more broad. It's actually more broad.
Yeah. Because everyone has that kind of mechanic in most video games.
Yep. And it's okay. So one of the best things from what other lawyers have said, let me actually make sure I get this guy's names right. He's an IP lawyer that's been covering this, and he did an interview, or either did an IP attorney, Kirk Sigmund. They did an interview with PC Gamer, and basically he said that this lawsuit isn't designed to win. It's designed to
no.
He said this is 100% designed to burn as much money from Pocket Pair as possible, so they just run out of money, right? Because it's
Yeah,
Nintendo.
this is a slap
Nintendo,
suit.
yeah, Nintendo is never going to run out of money.
No.
Palworld developers, Pocket Pair, they will eventually run out of money. They're a successful indie studio, but they're still an indie studio. They've like
Yeah.
at most they had tens of millions of dollars, but that was when like originally the game sold. So like obviously they've spent money, they've paid employees the past couple years. So like I doubt they still have that much money. You know? I'm not saying they're
Mhm.
broke, but
Yeah.
you know, they've spent the
They
money.
probably invested in stuff and spent it, not thinking that
They've
like
also
2
hired
years later,
a bunch.
Nintendo would do this.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they hired a bunch of people when they had a huge success so they can push updates faster.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my god, this
but
is so.
but the IP lawyer, sorry, what was his name? Kirk Sigmund did say there is a, I guess, light at the end of the tunnel, because he says the weakness of this legal case in, or not the weakness, but the defense that Pocket Pair can do is one of Nintendo's weaknesses, is that patents can be nullified if they are considered too broad. And if Pocket Pair can prove that, then all this stuff is nulled.
Yeah.
So if they can be, if Pocket Pair can demonstrate that it's too broad of a patent, the patent can be classified as invalidated.
Yeah. If it's too vague that it just basically encompasses way too much, then the court's going to throw it out, because at that point you're just trying to claim that everything is yours. You have to simplify. If you're going to patent something, it has to be a specific pattern, design, mechanic, coding, something. And the aspect of looking down a sight or looking through your HUD and your visor, whatever the hell, making your cursor line up to something and it displaying information because you're looking at something, that is not a specific thing to one game. That is literally something you can do with every game.
I don't even know, like, can you
practically
can you even demonstrate that Nintendo
that kind of
made that? Like, no.
Oh.
Like, there's no way. Like, are you gonna sue? Like, are you gonna sue Sony now because Metal Gear Solid has that? Because are you gonna sue Microsoft now because Halo has that? Like, there's no way,
dude. Every
single
game where you pick an enemy and it shows their status effect or status.
Yeah, are you gonna sue the XCOM developers now?
You can't do that kind of thing. That doesn't make any sense.
Actually, I just thought,
too vague.
Like, you should be suing Sega for every single JRPG they've ever released, or Atlas.
Yeah.
or every single Final Fantasy game in existence. Like, there's just no way.
There's no way you can do that.
Like, the IP lawyer, Kirk Sigmund, he said, like, he's directly saying, the combined $66 million or $66,000 might not seem like a hefty fee for Pocket Pair, but as Sigmund told PC Gamer, these damages only represent a fraction of what the patent lawsuit could cost with the parties involved. You're burning millions of dollars just trying to make this go away. You've got to find specialists. You've got to hire a team to do it. You've got to find people who are good at doing it. And if you're going to lose almost automatically, or else you're going to lose almost automatically. It gets extremely expensive and time consuming and can wear out a lot of small companies. And that's the biggest problem.
That's why I said it's just a slap suit. The Nintendo is being petty about this and just launching case after case to waste time, money, and revenue, specifically through the courts. They're just not going to say that. And I mean, who's going to try to fight against Nintendo and say?
I mean, that's the biggest problem. Honestly, the biggest problem I have right now with this is that if Nintendo wins, this is like a terrible precedent to set. Like, this is actually like, okay, I don't want to be like
not only
doomsday.
do you have the heads-up display issue,
this is
Yeah.
like the worst thing. If Nintendo wins,
No,
that's the worst outcome.
this is okay. Good example of a similar situation happening like this is when the Fine brothers on YouTube were trying to like copyright or like
Oh yeah,
trying to
React
patent the
content.
whole concept of React content. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Had they won that, then that would have changed the face of reactionary content on YouTube forever, on
oh
Twitch,
yeah,
on YouTube, on all
on
platforms.
any platform.
And this is same situation here, but with the mechanic of looking at your enemy in games, and also the concept of using your teammates, your soldiers, your allies, or whatever to move forward in progression wise in a story or map or whatever.
Yeah,
Which again, that one also is vague as hell.
I mean that one just sounds like a video game. Honestly, Alchem, like that just sounds like a video game. It just sounds like a video
you want to
game.
know what you
You
don't want to
just
know in
sorry.
terms of Pokemon. That's they're referring to using your HMs. They're literally referring to HMs.
I think they're referring to HMs
when you use your Pokemon to surf and stuff.
I think
I'm
so.
just like, get the fuck out of here. That has been a mechanic for so many other games. You can't even. I'm pretty sure Dragon Quest has done that before. I'm pretty sure so many Final Fantasy has done that before. So many other games has done that.
Yeah.
And to try and say that you should have the exclusive right to that is insane. And it's just downright devious to try to do this, because everyone can see clear as day you're just trying to slap suit Palworld out of existence.
And even with the oh god, what's that word? The overhead of the fact that this is a Japan specific lawsuit, so it is only in Japan. I don't think these patents are recognized outside of Japan. But even with the knowledge of it's only in Japan. Okay, so you can't sue Microsoft because that's not a Japanese company. But like Sony's a Japanese company, Sega's a Japanese company, Atlas is a Japanese company. Like,
and even all those have used those mechanics.
All of them have used those mechanics, and even in that, like, I can't imagine any reasonable developer being okay with this. I don't honestly like. I have a unfair bias against the Pokemon Company. I think it is such a wasted opportunity of the Pokemon games. But I can't, like, even with my incredibly biased opinion towards them, I can't imagine them being okay with this. Like, this, I want to believe that this is the suits and ties taking the reins of this, because I just don't want to believe that devs are okay with not being able to lock onto a target and see information. Like, I'm sorry, you didn't invent that, and even if you did, you don't own that concept.
I kind of have this. I have this feeling like there is a sense of mutual like respect in terms of game developers to not be petty about small innovations like that.
Yeah.
Like if you like slightly tweak the concept of like turn-based combat or like monster-based combat or monster taming kind of mechanics.
I mean, that's what Pokemon did.
Like there's some sort of mutual respect, not to just suddenly say, that's the thing. I would think that most developers would have a mutual respect and be like, we're not going to just suddenly say, see this one little tweak we did to this one genre of game? That's ours. You can't touch it. No, like, don't you dare. We will sue you. But apparently Nintendo doesn't give three fucks.
Pokemon has a lot of original ideas in it, but when you base it down to its pure mechanics, what it did was it took from the Japanese RPG game. I can't remember where it's... every time I try to mention it, I forget its name. But it's... oh, God.
Golden Sun.
No. It's a real... It's the old school one. Like the Super...
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest. What it did was it took stuff from Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest has stuff like that in it. And they just made the game.
Everyone takes it from Dragon Quest.
Yeah. And like Like if Pokemon Company was suing the Palworld devs because they found out they stole the models, or like they stole they literally took the models from Pokemon, I'd be like, yeah, that's bad. You know, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't steal the models. You shouldn't take the models and slightly edit them. But like, no, you like Nintendo. You don't own the concept of locking onto a target and seeing information. I'm just sorry, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't own the mechanic of unlocking areas based on new items or party members acquired. Like, you just killed the Metroidvania genre then. Like, no game can exist. You killed Metroid, and you own Metroid. To be fair, you wouldn't kill Metroid because Nintendo owns it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. this kind of like pettiness and this kind of action, if it were to succeed, I may be jumping the gun here. I may be like doom saying, but I feel like it would just be the start of the death of innovation. People
Oh
would
yeah,
no longer
no, I
want to try
agree.
to make new things because yeah. And
The problem
I
with this is that if this succeeds, every single like I feel like every single company in existence should start trying to patent mechanics then. Like, honestly, like if this works, then
it's
why would
it
you
can
not try
succeed.
to? Why would you not try to? It's like the
The
problem I
thing is,
have with Warner Brothers and
the
they
thing
when
is,
they
it.
patented the Nemesis system. I thought the Nemesis system was so cool, and 2 games in existence used it,
Mhm. And never again
and never again. And it'll
because
never be
they
used
don't want to
again
share.
because they don't want to share it. I thought the
Yeah.
Nemesis system was so cool.
And the see the problem too, Jelly, is there are two ways this can work. Or side with Nintendo and saying, you're right, this is your mechanic, and now you have the right to not let anyone use it. Which
Yeah,
I really doubt is going to happen because it's way too vague. The other method, which I
I don't think
really
they'd win.
hope
I
it
honestly
doesn't
don't think
happen,
they'd
but
win.
that's Nintendo. No, it's not. It's the other. Yeah, I don't think they'd win either. But the other method is, is Nintendo continues to slap suit and continue to just bury
Yeah,
them in legal fines
yeah, that's
to the
the
point where
problem.
they just play ball and just let go.
The problem is
And
that Pocket
if they
Pair is a successful indie company in Japan, which
true,
is means they have money, but they don't have Nintendo slash Pokemon Company money.
yeah,
So like,
yeah,
I think the worst thing about this is that, okay, I think Palworld and Pocket Pair can survive this lawsuit. But can they survive another lawsuit when Nintendo loses this one? You know what I mean? Like I feel
that's
like
the problem. Yeah,
you were saying that a little bit too, but like, can they survive the next lawsuit if Nintendo tries? Because the problem is that if I
that's
wholeheartedly believe Pocket Pair can win this lawsuit, the problem is that it's not about winning or losing, it's how long can they last? How much
yeah.
money
They're just
can they
trying to.
burn? Like, how much money can you burn?
They're gonna
Because
whittle them if, and I really hope that's not.
and
This
that's
isn't the
and
case,
that's
but
even the case if
it
they
seems like they
survive the
could just
first one.
whittle them down.
Like
Yeah,
that's
they could just
that's
whittle them
also,
down emotionally and financially.
yeah, because that's also
Because
assuming they're able to survive this lawsuit. Not because I don't think they were going to win, but because they have a finite resource, and that is money. Nintendo technically has a finite resource of money, but nowhere near amount as finite as Pocket Pair.
yeah, exactly.
So, like, honestly, the funny thing is,
Just
Alchem, the more and more I research into this lawsuit, and the more I look into it and talk about it, the more I want to, like, I just want to buy Palworld because, like, it's the only thing I can really do to help them is give them money.
I mean, they're now with Sony, so I mean, Sony can now hopefully help them.
Does Sony
It's
own
just,
Palworld? I don't think they do.
I don't think they own them, but I think they've sided with them or made some
They're
agreements with them. But in terms of legal stuff, I don't think they're going to be there for them there,
no, they I think
especially against
they
Nintendo.
just ported the game over to PlayStation. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's it. I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that's
Sony's
going to do
taking
much.
sides.
Yeah,
Honestly,
no.
Sony shouldn't take sides. Like if I was Sony, I wouldn't be taking sides. I'd be going with whoever wins. And it sucks to
Yeah.
say that, but like even if I was Sony, I wouldn't want to fight Nintendo. They're Nintendo. Not only are they Nintendo, they're the Pokemon company. Like the Pokemon company is the most profitable company IP in existence. Like I'm pretty sure Disney is the only one that even comes close, and I'm pretty sure Pokemon wins. So like anyone who tries to fight Nintendo willingly is
Good.
crazy.
Good
Is
luck.
crazy. Is
Yeah.
crazy. Pocket Pair is not fighting Nintendo willingly. They Nintendo forced them into the ring, and I do feel like they need to fight it. But the problem is that like it's not about winning this lawsuit. It's about surviving this lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that could be the one good thing is if they do win, it's probably going to be very difficult for Nintendo to bring another lawsuit against them. At least for a little bit. And then maybe by then something else will happen so that it won't happen again. But the biggest problem is, okay, well, it's just like how long can Pocket Pair continue to spend as much money as they're going to have to spend to defend themselves in this lawsuit? Because it's not about it's I think any reasonable person with any reasonable amount of intelligence can say this lawsuit was not designed to win.
I will
It
say
was designed
this
to drain Pocket Pair of money.
this case. Yeah, I will
Sorry,
say
go ahead.
this though, in terms of the no, you're fine because it's still about this. I'll say this. I do have slight. I'm a bit more positive. I'm a bit more like positive in this situation, considering that it took Nintendo's lawyers quite a bit of time to scrounge up some legal argument. This
Yeah.
means that if they lose this, that was either their best hand, because honestly, this is so vague. I don't think they really had anything else that could have flown into the courts. I think most of them would have been thrown out before it got to trial.
I mean, it
So
definitely shows that it took
if
them this long to do something.
yeah, so what I think this was their best hand in terms of litigation.
Yeah.
So if the court, depending on what the hell the courts decide, if they decide to rule it,
Yeah.
that sucks for everyone. If they decide against it because of the vagueness, good. But I don't think Nintendo will. This is me being hopeful. I don't think they'll have another leg to stand on in terms of trying to sue
No.
Palworld or the team behind Palworld.
The problem, honestly,
Hopefully.
Alchem, I agree with you. The problem, like the thing is that this decision isn't going to come fast, and that's the problem.
Oh no, this is going to take.
This
a while.
is going to.
Take
Alchem.
maybe a year.
I hope. I want to do this podcast as long as we can, and I fear that we're going to be talking. We're going to be we're going to be in the triple digits of episodes, and we're going to still be talking about this. Like that's like a big fear in my mind. It's great for content, but like if we're at episode 150 and we're still talking about the Pocket Pair Nintendo legal battle, like Pocket Pair is just going to run out of money. Like they're just going to run out of money.
That's definitely.
So like, and the problem is like how long can Nintendo drag this out and make it so Pocket Pair is trying to desperately find more money, because like if Pocket Bear can manage to make this only last like 6 months or like a year, I think Pocket Bear should be fine. I think I have a reasonable expectation that it can last for about a year, when in terms of just money and trying to convince the courts to say this is dumb, please stop, but in a legal term. But if it's longer than
stop with the slap suits.
Yeah.
Stop it.
But the problem is that when it gets
you're scaring everyone.
When it gets more than 12 months, honestly when I get more worried, because like that's gonna be millions of dollars spent, when you get to the 12-month mark, because lawsuits can be hundreds of thousands of dollars in a couple months. But when you get more, the longer,
Palworld.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Palworld, get working on more expansions. We'll buy them. We'll fund you.
yeah. I'm like, I'm serious.
We'll fund your legal fees.
I honestly, the more and more I learn about this lawsuit, the more I'm like, man, I should buy Palworld just because it's
Just
the
stick
only
it to
way
Nintendo.
it's the only way I could really help them. If I ever wanted to help them, I should buy Palworld. And honestly, I was interested in Palworld before, but I was waiting for 1.0. But the problem is that 1.0 might never happen now.
Yeah.
Or it'll be drastically changed. Because like Palworld can still, even if this, like, I guess in the slight positive thing, if Nintendo does win, Palworld can technically still exist. They just have to drastically change the game. I don't know how you would exist with the patents that they are fighting, because like, how on earth do you not have a character look at something and have information pop up? I don't know how that exists.
Only that, if they did win that patent, who else is going to rise up and be like, what about me? Our game has this kind of mechanic too. Are you going to come after us too?
Well, that has to, yeah.
I mean,
and it has to be a Japanese
up or
company.
not? That's the other question.
Yeah. That's
There's
also
plenty.
a thing of like, it has to be like it has to be a Japanese company, but it's also like,
are they willing to put themselves out there?
I don't know. It's going to be weird.
And it's going to be an interesting set of time when that day happens, when they finally make a ruling. So,
when this goes to actual court, it's going to be a nightmare. And I hope whoever is going to be translating this thing can translate it well, because I fear for whoever has to translate all the thing, because this is going to be pages and pages and pages of legal documents.
Yep.
And it's going to be a pain. And I can't wait until the I can't
when the ruling comes in and they decide what
that's
the hell
going to be
happened.
a day. That's going to be a day, I'm going to tell you.
Well, I mean, definitely we'll talk about that when that.
Oh no,
happens,
that's going to be.
I mean, we will have so much time. We'll have all the speculation.
Honestly, that's going to be a whole episode. That's going to be just the only topic for that episode. I'm going to be making 3 videos on it, and we're going to be doing the podcast. Moment. Yeah. Whether they win or lose.
It's going to be so historic because it'll change everything for a lot of game developers.
The good thing is that this is a Japanese lawsuit, so at least outside of Japan, it won't be a problem. Whether they win or lose inside of Japan, it won't be a problem. Outside of Japan, sorry, it won't be a problem. But like, being a Japanese developer, being a Japanese developer is going to be so stressful in the next like year, because they're like, do I need to like change jobs?
The gaming sector is just starting to look rough all over. First it was a U.S., now it's just overseas. Now, if this actually comes to pass,
if this comes to pass, it's just like, okay, well, now you have to work with Nintendo. Like, indie games are going to be so impossible to make if you're in Japan. If this works out, like, okay, go to a big company then, so you don't have to worry about it. Like, indie games will in fact die in Japan, I feel like, if this works.
Dude, 2024, Nintendo turns out to be the bad guy. Who would have thought that was going to happen?
They've always been the bad guy. When it comes to legal stuff, I mean, they've always been the bad guy.
No, but I mean, like the mask off bad guy.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because like, they've always been. The biggest problem with Nintendo is they make amazing games, but outside of that, outside of the pure games that they make,
my God,
they have always been like really aggressive.
Oh my God, it literally is. It's like all the cartoon. It's like all those sitcom or like cartoony thing, like The Simpsons, where they have a nice corporate, a nice family friendly corporate look where everyone sees them in public. They're like, oh, they're the good guys. They can do no wrong. Behind closed doors, it's like
they take you to the back room and
it's evil.
They load the gun as soon as they take you to the back room.
Yeah, behind the curtains, you don't see the toil and everyone just slaving away and just. Everything's just dark.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that is all the stories. That's all the stories I had. Crypto food
Who
stealing, and Nintendo being evil. What a week.
Chat, we
What a
brought you
week.
all the doom and gloom for video games. I hope you guys
Hey,
enjoyed.
we did talk about people stealing tons of amount of cheese, so that's could be
Yeah,
something.
I'm pretty sure those who are cheese fanatics did not appreciate that.
That's true. That's true. All right, Alchem, do some shout outs.
Uh, all right, then, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alchem. I'm the little Tanuki VTuber, currently in my RAM form as I'm testing out new stuff. But you can catch me usually on Twitch and on YouTube, where I just play whatever game I enjoy. I have my fun, whether it's the finals, whether it's honestly, there's a wide variety of games. I can't even begin to start talking about them. In fact, lately I've been trying to hop into VR chat more, which I've been glad about.
Fun with
But yeah,
friends.
you can catch me on those. Yeah, you can catch me on those two platforms. I also appear on Twitter and Blue Sky, and I'll just post random stuff. Hope you guys enjoy. For those of you who are curious, of course, you can always just follow on any of those platforms and just continue to watch these streams and have fun. And yeah, for those of you who have been watching, thank you so much and appreciate all this love and support that I've been getting. But yeah, and especially when it's just me gaming or here on the podcast alongside my co-host Jelly.
Yes, I am the Techno Jelly. I do news reports on YouTube and the podcast, as well as some streaming stuff still. I mostly do news on gaming and video essays nowadays. Those are uploaded on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on YouTube. And I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I play a lot of Deadlock and Minecraft nowadays. I am working on a video essay, and I'm working on a couple. I haven't really decided on the which one's going to be going to full production yet, but I'll figure it out. And if you'd like to support me, go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, do all that good YouTube stuff. I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and a Blue Sky as well. I also have a Threads as well if you'd like to follow me on any of those social media platforms. If you'd like to support the podcast directly, you can go over to my Patreon account, become a paid member, and you get access to the before and after scenes. Today, this week, the before scenes was me talking about how I'm going to make Alchem so sad because I have so much crypto stuff to talk about. And that was it, mostly for the before scenes. So thank you everyone for watching, and we're going to see you the next time on Two Buds One Podcast. Goodbye, everyone.
Later, guys. Have a good rest of your night.